Hey, good day, everybody. This is from Rich Habits, Common Rich Habits of Saver, Investor, Self-Made Millionaires. If I really recommend you follow Rich Habits. His stuff is fantastic. It says, my mission is to share my unique Rich Habits research in order to add value to your life and to help you realize increased wealth, superior health, abundant success, fulfillment, and happiness. If you find value in these articles, please share them with your inner circle and encourage them to sign up for my Rich Habits Daily Tips articles. No one succeeds on their own. Thank you. Rich habits are the habits that were common among the self-made millionaires in my Rich Habits study. As you know, there are 4 paths to wealth. Each path has unique rich habits that help those self-made millionaires become wealthy. Now, in the end, we're the sum total of our habits, aren't we? So it's really important that if you want to become wealthy, that you figure out what are the habits of wealthy people, of rich people, and maybe I should implement those habits in my own life to change the trajectory of where I'm headed in my life. I think that's one of the things. There's no question. I've read over 1,500 books on personal development. I've countless books on biographies and autobiographies of highly successful people, from sports to movie industry to business to everything. Just always in the search of trying to figure out what makes them tick. Why do they become so successful at what they do? And then I modeled and mimicked that, and I've been doing that for about 40 years now, and it's made all the difference. My life has, accomplished pretty much most of the things I wanted to accomplish in my life. I have a pretty amazing situation now because I'm debt-free, financially independent, and have a lot of passive income, as well as significant income from a business that I grew and developed. But it all came from studying this. As I came from a family that my father was a Mexican immigrant with a third-grade education. I grew up in a 1,000-square-foot house with 9 people, and I have 6 brothers and sisters, and my mom and dad, and we lived in this little 1,000-square-foot place, and that's how I grew up. Nobody in my family was successful financially. Nobody had ever owned a business I have a very large Mexican Catholic family, so extended family. Nobody was successful. If you graduated from high school, it's like you had graduated with a PhD from MIT or Harvard or something like that. It was such a big deal because it was so rare. So I didn't have anybody to look to in my life, in my circle of influence. So I found it through reading books, through listening to audios, to watching videos, to going to seminars. I knew that I needed to get that information. I figured, all these people to become super successful and wealthy, not all of them came from money. In fact, most don't. 80+% of millionaires are self-made millionaires. In other words, they didn't come from a rich family. They didn't have a silver spoon. So the vast majority of people who become successful don't come from that environment where they're basically born on third base, if you will. So below are the common rich habits among the saver, investor, self-made millionaires in my Rich Habits study. I will save and invest my income for saver investors more than any class of self-made millionaires. Forge the rich habit of consistently saving 20% or more of their net income. Most people don't save anywhere near that amount, but you need to rearrange your situation so you're able to do that. This enabled them to then prudently invest their savings over many years to help them save and invest. Saver investors use a strategy I call the bucket system. They use the bucket system to help them identify specific saving priorities. They devoted a percentage of their savings to each bucket: wedding, first home, emergency fund, college savings, investments, retirement, etc. I think the other thing that was really important is that you learn about money. People that become wealthy, they pay attention to money and how to grow that money. First, how to make the money, but then also how to keep it and grow it. A lot of people make a lot of money and don't end up wealthy because they haven't studied how to keep and save and grow that money that they have. And that's another thing that you really need to be focused on is, study it. There's no shortage of information on what to do with your money. If you just Google or go to Amazon.com and look up all the books on saving and investing. From Saving for Dummies or Investing for Dummies, there's all kinds of stuff. There's no shortage. If you're really motivated, you want to make sure that you end up, in later years in life where you don't have to work like a crazy person anymore, I would highly recommend you pay attention to and study what do successful saver investors do. Says, I will live each day in a state of moderation. Saver investors, more than any class of self-made millionaires, forge the habit of living their lives in moderation. They do nothing in excess except spend time with family and friends. So the excess would be buying super expensive cars, moving into a house that, it gets you to the place where you can't really save or invest because you have too much money going towards a mortgage, or, just wasting money, gambling. I mean, there's a lot of things that, people do that you need to do the opposite of. I will never quit on my dreams, no matter what happened in their lives. They never quit on their dream of saving and investing their way to becoming self-made millionaires. And I think that's just one way. The other way that I chose, that a lot of people that I know chose, a lot of people I've helped over the years, is in addition to that, they chose to start their own business. And I started my business part-time. I didn't go full-time. It took me about a year before I was ready to go full-time, but I learned the business, got my licenses. I'm in the financial service business, so I got my licenses. I studied that. I learned the business well enough so to the point where I felt like I could make a living doing it, and that turned into wealth for me. And if I would have stayed in my job, I probably still would have done okay, saving, investing. But I, exploded that by starting a business and growing that business, significantly. And that's one thing you should be thinking about. What could I do, to make more money, start my own business, and accelerate my, path to becoming debt-free and financially independent. I will focus on my dreams and goals every day. The dream for saver investors, self-made millionaires, was to save and invest their way to wealth. The goals they used to manufacture that dream were frugal spending, modest standard of living. Saver investors focused like a laser every day on frugally spending their money so they could create a standard of living that allowed them to save and invest 20% or more of their net income. Invest consistently. Saver investors consistently invested their savings. This consistency allowed them to take advantage of dollar cost averaging and help them consistently build their wealth over many years. I will take calculated risks. Many of the saver investors in my Rich Habits study were what I call Home Depot investors. They did their own investing. This required that they do their homework, like I mentioned earlier, before making any investment. They often relied upon financial advisors to help provide them with information to enable them to select suitable investments. The non-Home Depot investors relied upon financial planners and financial advisors in crafting and implementing an investment plan. They regularly communicated with their financial advisors. They devoted 3 to 4 hours every month in discussions with their financial advisors. I will ask, and then so you got to get help. I mean, that's the bottom line. The more questions you ask, the more help you get, the easier it's going to be to make good, sound decisions that move you in the direction you want to go. I will ask questions in order to learn from others. Saver investors ask their financial advisors many questions regarding their investments. Investment-related questions, tax planning questions, legal questions, questions regarding the fees of various investments. And I have some people that manage my money that I meet with a few times a year just to go over what we're doing, if we're on the right path, if you need to make changes. That's what somebody that really is smart about their money is going to do. I will create multiple streams of income. Over the course of their lives, saver investors created multiple revenue streams: interest income, dividend income, annuity income, rental income, capital gain income, small business income, whatever, but it's not just from one source. I will seek feedback from others. Saver investors often rely on financial experts to help them select their investments. I do that. I pay for that. I have no problem paying somebody to help me with that. I'm busy running and growing my business, and I know enough to be able to make decisions, but I have somebody help me find those investments, and then, of course, I make the decision on whether I'm going to do that or not. Law of association. Saver investors surround themselves with other saver investors because habits spread like a virus throughout your social network. It's important for saver investors to limit their exposure to individuals who do not share their saver investor mindset. Risk-averse, frugal spending, consistently saving money, prudently investing their savings, and maintaining a modest standard of living. Frugal with their money, saver investors have forged the rich habit of seeking the highest quality product or service at the lowest price. I think that's really important that you do that. One of the things I've always done, lived way below my means. I mean, like way below. I'm fortunate to build a business that puts off a lot of cash flow, so I'm able to live on about 20% of my income. So that means I have to pay taxes and all that, but still after that, I'm able to save and invest a significant amount of money because I'm not spending anywhere close to what I would spend, like most people spend, on their lifestyle and stuff. But that's one of the things, and one of the reasons I think it's so important to have a business where you can really grow your income, where you have the potential to grow it exponentially way beyond what your overhead is, so that you can start saving and investing and get yourself in a position where you can, have freedom in your life. I mean, because I think that's the real key. All of this is leading towards freedom. When you have no debt and you have significant passive income, and then maybe you have multiple streams of income from other things that you've done, like we mentioned earlier in the call here, in the talk, that allows you to have a lot of choices and allows you to have a lot of freedom in your life. So I'd highly, highly recommend that.